A friend of mine and I were talking this past week about how we are using our quarantine time for self-care, but how we feel like we should be doing something else. Let's talk about this word, should. Hey, I'm Stephanie Rhea. Subscribe for more videos on how to live life to the full. So this word should plays out in two ways in our lives, and there are internal and external voices putting pressure on us. What do we do about it? What are we saying when we say we should or should have done something? Sometimes we are recognizing that this world is not the way it should be or the way it ought to be. We are hoping for the best because we are designed to live in the Garden of Eden. Lisa Turkers recently said, "God didn't do this to me. He didn't. This is not the way He designed the world to be. Sin did that to this world. Sin broke God's original design." I want to validate you here and say that there is a deficit. There is a difference from the way that things are and the way that things ought to be. And that hurts. Grieve this discrepancy. Grieve the difference between what we long for and what actually is. Your desires are good. You can bring those desires from the deficit to God. God longs to restore those things in your life. God created everything, so God can restore anything. Another way shoulding plays out in our lives is when we place hard or unreasonable expectations on ourselves. I want to validate you here and say, yes, your decisions impact your life and the lives of those around you. You are powerful. But please do not put yourself down when things do not turn out the way you hoped for or the way you expected. Instead of using that time and energy to beat yourself up, take time to evaluate where you are. Recognize, are you getting tired? Are you trying to do too many things at one time? Are you taking on too many responsibilities? Are you able to focus on the task at hand, or are you getting distracted? Once we evaluate where we are, we're able to make changes to produce a more desirable outcome. As a recovering people pleaser, I know I feel like I always should do whatever someone else wants me to do in order to help them. But I learned something from Tiffany Dawn. She said, when we say no, we are saying yes to something else, even if that something else is just rest. When we rest, we are able to give our full time and attention to whatever we commit to. So invite Holy Spirit into those decisions of when to commit and when to rest. What internal voices in your head are telling you that you should be something different than you are? Have people said things in the past that you've made in agreements with that cause you to put yourself down? Are you comparing yourself to others? At the end of this video, I'll give 4 tips on what to do in that case. Another internal voice could be, I should have done that so that I will have a certain thing or feel a certain way. I ask you to invite God in to fulfill those desires and watch and see how Holy Spirit works through you to fulfill those things instead of you putting all that pressure on yourself. Now let's talk about external voices that cause us to should on ourselves. Some people will mock us, make fun of us, roll their eyes at us, cause us to not be able to stick up for ourselves, or gaslight us, which means calling our perceptions into question. Psych Central says that all of these are tactics of manipulation and control and have no place in a healthy relationship. Do not think that you have done anything to cause these things to happen. Your voice and your desires are meant to be heard. So what do? Here are 4 things that will lead us to stop shoulding on ourselves. Number 1, separate lies from truth. When you hear yourself should on yourself, does that sound like anybody you know? Does that sound like something someone has said to you? Separate what other people say about you from what God says about you. One way to do this is through sozo. Sozo is like a guided prayer time with a counselor who helps you interpret what God is saying. I have experienced so much joy and freedom from doing sozo. It pulls out the lies that I believe about myself and replaces it with God's truth. Which brings me to point number 2. Build yourself up on what is true about you. You are loved. You are redeemed. You are fully reconciled to your Creator. You are made in the image of the Most High God. And you are here for such a time as this. There are more truths like this in the Bible study called God is, We Are, and it's free online at blueletterbible.org. I'll put a link in the description below. Number 3, remove the labels. Imagine that the names and labels that people have called you are sticky notes and that they're on you. And then imagine removing each one by one. I bet you'll feel a lot lighter. The 4th and last step to stop shooting on ourselves is to do radical acceptance. Now, I'm not certified to teach DBT, but here's what I've learned. Radical acceptance is accepting circumstances just the way they are right now. It could mean saying something like, it is what it is, or this is where we are. I like to say it is well with my soul, and that means everything around me may be crazy, but I can be well in and of myself. It helps me separate the circumstances and outcomes from my identity. Lisa Turker says that she likes to have a mini funeral in her mind for expectations that are no longer reasonable. What can you do to be tender to yourself? Will you please replace your shoulding with self-care? You are important enough to take care of.